Well, hello, welcome to Basics of Biostatistics, ninth video. I am Dr. Omar Amin Mohammed from Bauchi State University, Galo. In today's video, we're going to talk about types of sampling. It is very important for a researcher to know the sampling techniques to use or to employ in his research because it is going to affect the outcome of his research. So we need to know what the population. A population is the largest collection of values of a random variables for which we have an interest at a particular time. Population is the total of all the units that makes up your study. But sometimes it is very difficult for you to study all the population, right? And let's take, for example, the weight of all the children enrolled in a certain elementary school. Now, the population could be finite, which means it has an end, or it could be infinite, which means you don't know the end value. Now, for us to carry out the research, since studying the whole population is difficult, we then study a sample, which serves as representative of the population. A sample is a part of a population, and a sampling frame is the list that contains the population of interest, or an area that contains a population of interest. Now, for example, using the previous example, the weight of only a fraction of these children in that particular elementary school serve as a sample for the population of that particular elementary school. Now, there are two types of sampling, which are probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, every item in the population has an equal chance to be included in the study, which includes simple random sampling. Here, every item in the population has an equivalent chance to be considered of consideration in the sample, and you can basically use a raffle draw, where you just write a piece of paper, yes or no, and you shuffle it, you squeeze it and shuffle it, you ask members of the population to pick, or you can use a computerized random number table. And then we have systematic sampling. And the most handy method for sampling is to choose probably the fifth or the eighth or the 10th item, or even every third house in an area. And this is basically systematic. Or you can use stratified sampling, which is applied in the event that the population from which a sample is to be drawn does not constitute a homogeneous gathering or group, which means they are not similar, right? So the population is stratified into various non-overlapping strata or subpopulation, and sample items are chosen from every stratum. Now we also have cluster sampling. And cluster sampling or bunch sampling involves grouping the population, and after that, then choosing the cluster or the groups as opposed to individual components for consideration in the sampling. While in non-probability sampling, where not every item is basically given the chance to be involved, we have purposive sampling. Here, the researcher is going for a particular unit because it has the attribute he is looking for that is not common to everyone. Let's take, for example, you want to work on filling station, the techniques that is used in a filling station. You definitely have to go to a filling station, which makes it purposive. Or you are trying to carry out your data in gene banks, you have to go to gene banks. Now, another non-probability sampling is the accidental, or also known as convenient sampling. Here, the researcher interviews the subject he finds on the day of sampling, spreading the investigation over a period of time to make the result more accurate. Let's take, for example, you are interested in patients that usually come to test for malaria. You only go to primary health care, and you can't just say everybody should come, but the person that goes to that particular place at that day you are there to take sample is the accidental member of your sample. So now you are expected to spread it over a long period of time to make it more accurate. Then we also have quota sampling. In stratified sampling, the cost of taking random samples from individual strata is usually so costly that interviewers are just offered quota to fill from various strata. There is determination of items for sample being left for the interviewer's judgment. Of course, the interviewer has to be a specialist, and they are given a certain number that they should fill, and once it is filled, then that's it. We also have snowballing. And snowballing sampling, this sampling method is used when you are dealing with a rare attribute that is not common. The researcher first tries to locate the particular unit that has that particular attribute and asks to be directed to another unit with such an attribute. The researcher will keep asking for direction till he is directed to the unit he has been to before. Let's say, for example, we are dealing with you want to interview or you want to do your research on traditional medicine. Now you need to work with people that are into traditional medicine. So they are unique. So you just have to ask for direction to where you can find a herbalist, and that herbalist will direct you to another herbalist, and that another herbalist will direct you to another one, and you keep doing that till they keep referring you to people or herbalists you've interviewed before. Cheers. See you soon.